First on our agenda is at 7 p.m. is the continuation of the public hearing for the special permit on the application of Western Mass Climbers Coalition in care of Andy Newman, 300 Unicorn Park, Suite 501, Woburn, Mass, to allow for the construction of a parking lot on the north side of Old State Road identified as map 502 and 5018 in Erving, Massachusetts. You wanna come up?
All right. Good evening.
Hi, if you could just introduce yourself since there might be some new people watching.
Absolutely. Good evening. My name is Bucky Sparkle. I'm a civil engineer and am the applicant's representative in this matter. And as I think everyone knows, this is a continuation. Last time we covered the bulk of the application and the questions from the public, questions from the board, and last weekend the site visit was scheduled and members of the board and public were in attendance and a variety of questions were asked and we showed people around. Since this application was up last month, there have been a few very minor changes to the plan which were a result of this meeting, the Conservation Commission, and feedback from Mass DOT. We've recently submitted revised plan set. So the things that I would like to point out about that plan is we have removed the picnic area that was originally proposed. We have relocated the small shed to be a little further from the road and the wetland, and the planting plan has been updated mostly because the picnic area was removed. And a little bit of work for Mass DOT was incorporated. The driveway is now wider. They had a minimum standard. So it's now 24 feet, and they preferred a different way for us to get water under the updated driveway, so I redesigned a culvert. That's the list of changes to the plan at this point.
I understand that the parking lot, the parking spaces have also changed?
Well, now that the picnic area is gone, there was one parking space that was blocked off in order to provide pedestrian access. The plan has, so there are now 77 spaces on the plan. The plan had 76 spaces before, and I erroneously indicated 71 spaces in the application. That was my forgetting to count the 5 spaces that hung out on the east side of the lot. So the plan hasn't changed, but I basically had a typo that carried through the application.
So does anybody have any questions for the applicant based off of the site visit or a continuation from last month's meeting?
I don't.
I do not.
Joe, do you have any?
The only thing I maybe wanted to clarify, especially having seen it in person now, was the lot that's directly across the street.
Mm-hmm.
I know we had mentioned last time that you could maybe put in the saplings to be the maximum height so that they could get the coverage and not look directly into a parking lot. I just wanted to confirm if that was still...
Yeah, they were looking for, I think the planting plan says for the trees, when you say saplings, they're 1.5 to 2 inch caliper, so much larger than saplings. And typically trees of that caliper above ground, you're looking at 5 to 8 feet, sometimes taller, depending on the species.
Bucky, when you say caliper, just for those that aren't as familiar, I assume you mean the diameter of the trunk?
Yes, it's the diameter breast height measurement, so that's 4.5 feet above grade is where trees are measured.
Okay, thank you.
And remind me where the trees were going to be planted there. Was it going to be towards the bottom of the hill or more towards the top-ish?
Well, most of them, I mean, most of the screening is between the parking lot and the roadway. So I don't have control of this, but I think it's sheet 6, I believe, is the planting plan. There we go.
There we go.
So the green area is the grass seed area. Most of the plantings are within that. The circles would be the trees. So several of the trees, even at this distance, you can see are between the disturbed grass area and
We lost it. Oh, there it is.
and the roadway. But the dense vegetation is, because the parking lot is raised, is up on the embankment a little bit, right at the edge.
Sorry, I'm just having trouble picturing it mentally. So there's that hill going up, and so where the vegetation is being planted is more towards the bottom, the middle, the top.
All around.
All around and
May
very-
I point out?
Sure.
I know I lose the mic when I go over here. So the densest vegetation is all along through here. It does reach around to the edge. We have a few larger specimen trees out front. And then we also have vegetation, trees planted here, trees and shrubs here, trees along through here to replace some that have been pulled out of the hillside. This is very exciting.
So the fireworks display.
And a couple other over by the swale. So it's surrounding the entire property. There are 97 plantings.
So from the perspective of the lot that's directly across the street from the parking lot, I'm just trying to get a sense of where the new saplings would be planted. Is it like directly at road level, or as it starts to escalate?
All of them are going to be up. As you know, there's
Up,
an
okay.
embankment on the road. That's public right of way. We can't touch that. It's state highway. So it's already when it starts to flatten out relatively. It's still a slope, but so that's the area and going upwards. So we're looking at 6 to 13 feet above road level, more or less.
Okay, so it'd be more effective screening since it's higher up.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
In fact, at that angle, it would be difficult to see the parking lot from the road, but the screening is going to really be a significant amount of vegetation.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Jackie, have a comment?
Yes?
Regarding what Joe just asked, I mean, as far as from, if you are the abutter across the road, and I am 2 years from now, if this all goes through, looking across, how much of those cars am I going to be able to see? Are they going to be 75% blocked? Are they going to be 50% blocked? Like, how much are you sort of guesstimating that they're going to have a natural privacy fence?
I have never seen a parking lot that was 100% obfuscated by vegetation. And of course, there's seasonal vegetation as well. So in the wintertime, there's less screening. There's still a lot of stick material, living material. And in the summertime, the density is such that it should be eventually a fairly continuous wall of greenery, plus additional specimen trees that would overarch larger than that.
So fairly well blocked is what I'm gathering.
It's better blocked than any parking lot I have seen in 30 years of doing this.
All right. Does the public have any questions or comments? So the only thing, I just want to clarify, the Conservation Commission has not voted on the NOI yet, correct, Glenn? That will be October 7th?
Likely, yeah.
So there's no other questions. Do you want to entertain any conditions or anything like that? Or does anyone have any concerns about it?
I did have one question. Could you speak to a little bit, Bucky, what was the decision process in removing the picnic area?
There was a multi-level decision, I would say. There were several factors. One was the feedback from the last meeting, both in the public and the board didn't seem to have a lot of interest in it, and it wasn't a very important factor. I suggested it originally, it was not my client's idea because I knew we would be generating excess film or soil. So I'm like, well, it costs money to haul it away. We can place it here. We can create a little picnic area or green space. Made sense to me and talked my clients into that. But after there was some pushback, both from the board and the community, and we also heard from Mass DOT, confusingly, they felt like that picnic area, even though it was several feet into the property, was in the state highway layout. Not sure where they got that idea, but we decided we weren't going to fight them either. So those were the factors that decided off the plan.
Okay.
And
Okay.
there are 9 less trees now because of it. So.
Okay.
Great. Not good that there's 9 less trees, but
No. But there's less area that's
Right,
disturbed.
yeah.
So actually it's 11 less trees, I'm sorry, just to be accurate.
all right, so under our criteria for special permits, it says that the planning board, well, the special permit granting authority, which in this case is the planning board, upon its written determination on the adverse effects of the proposed use will not outweigh its beneficial impacts to the town or the neighborhood in view of the particular characteristics of the site and the proposal in relationship to that site. In addition, there are any specific factors that may be forth set in this bylaw, the determination shall include considering of the following: the social, economic, and community needs which are served by the proposal. This plan does meet those. It addresses the growing use of the ledges, and it would meet the community needs and beyond. It will have an economic impact because it will bring people in, and hopefully they will spend some of their dollars in Erving or in the surrounding community. The traffic flow and safety, including parking and loading, you seem to adequately have addressed that. I do want to thank you for the site visit. It was very informative, at least for me.
Great.
The adequacy of the utilities and other public services, you have adequately addressed how you're going to deal with the trash and the porta potty and that sort of thing. The neighborhood characteristics and social structures. I cannot speak for the board, but I do feel that you listened to the abutters and their concerns, and screened it the best that you could, and buying the larger trees, which I know is an added expense to your project versus a smaller tree, so that it would screen it. The impacts on the natural environment, it seems that although you're creating a parking lot, you're not paving it, you're using materials that will be less of an impact than asphalt would be, and you are addressing the invasive species that are all over that place, and trying to improve the area. And I understand that if this goes through, you'll be putting a conservation restriction on the remaining land. And the potential fiscal impact, including impact on town services, tax base, and employment. Well, there is no fiscal impact because you're a nonprofit. But, you know, and I think there'll be very little impact on town services. I don't believe, and I did not hear from the fire chief that they visited your other parking lot very often for medical emergencies. He didn't have any feedback. He said it was fine. There is no employment because it's climbing. It's a recreational thing. So it seems to me that all those needs are adequately addressed. We can set conditions for the special permit, and they can include a setback requirement greater than the minimum, requirements to install screening, fencing, or other means of protecting adjacent property, which I think you have addressed. Modification of exterior features or appearances of any structure. You're having a shed. I'm sure it will be tasteful. I'm not worried that it's going to be something that's not tasteful. Limitation to size, number of occupants, method or time of operation, and proposed use. You have said that you encourage no night climbing, and that the park be open from dawn to dusk, basically. The regulation of number, design, and location of access drives and other traffic features. You have an in and out, and the road layout width is dictated by Mass DOT. Requirement, well, there is no requirement for off-street parking, and special features. Installation of mechanical or other devices to limit noise, light, odor, or objectionable aspects of use, and a requirement of a surety bond or other security for performance of any conditions attached to the special permit, which we won't need for that. I would like to make a motion for the board to discuss a couple of them. I would like signage to be specific, to say that your parking lot is only open from dawn to dusk, so that it's apparent to everyone.
Great.
I know that you have a community that respects a lot of that, but I'm looking 5, 10, 15 years into the future, and I just want to make sure that you know, there's no nighttime. I don't know how the board.
I agree with that.
Absolutely.
Okay. I also no overnight parking or camping. I've had 2 inquiries for people that are concerned now with the self-contained units of people parking, staying there overnight. you know, to see the dawn breaking with the rock climbing, but we really would encourage signage, well, are requiring signage that says no overnight parking or camping. Security cameras as well. We did talk about that at the last, and I don't know how the board feel. If you have an objection or you want to talk about it, please do, because I'm just proposing these conditions.
I guess I'd like to understand the security cameras better because this is their private property. So to me, I feel like that is up to WMCC as to whether they want security cameras there or not. I don't know what them having security cameras on their private property does to benefit us for conditions.
I guess I included that because you had already mentioned it was in your plan, and that was about it. But do you have a reason why you have security cameras at your other thing? Is it just for safety, or if someone gets hurt?
It's just for safety, is
Okay.
why we have the cameras at the existing parking lot, in case there's minor accidents. I mean,
Right.
there was one instance of vandalism on some of our signs once, and so we were able to identify the cause of that. I mean, I would have to talk to my board about this, but I mean, theoretically, this wouldn't be facing the road, but
Right.
we could have like a live stream of the parking lot. I mean, I would have to figure that out, but like have it face towards the woods, and then
Right.
if somebody wanted to see the condition of the parking lot at any time, they could do that. I mean, I think that'd be pretty simple to set up, but like I said, I have to talk to our board about before I promise.
Personally, I feel like security cameras, I would not be in favor of making it a condition. I feel like that is the discretion of the applicant as to whether they want security cameras on their property or not. Telling them they have to, quite frankly, feels a little too big brother for me. It's their property, it's their right to have them if they want to have them, and you know, if someone has an accident, that's for them to figure out.
It was only
So-
because they mentioned it, I was just going to throw it in as a condition, but it's not a make or break for me. And Melanie, how do you feel?
I agree with that.
And Joe?
I agree.
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll strike that. There was a concern about dogs, and they need to be on a leash, or especially that is one of the concerns of the abutters. They mentioned several times that they were concerned about the dogs wandering over, or they had dogs themselves. So just dogs on a leash.
A couple of things with that. Which abutters, because all the information that we've gotten is one abutter owns dogs, and the other letter stated that they had reviewed WMCC's website and said that they had seen where the climbers addressed the fact that dogs were on someone's property and asked people to be leashed. We have leash laws.
Wow.
Again, I wouldn't put leash dogs in the conditions. I feel like that's an overreach. There's leash laws for a reason, and people do have the ability, if a dog is out running loose, there are steps and policies in place to deal with that.
So one of the abutters called me today because there was a dog on the property and ran over, and
That was Molly. That was our fault. That was so when we were upstate.
so right.
I can take it.
They were just
Yeah.
it was a concern that they had. So I was trying to alleviate their concern by saying,
You're trying to say signage for this, right?
yeah, signage. I'm not, yeah,
Oh,
signage.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, after Saturday, because that was another board member and I.
And I didn't mean to put you on the
No,
spot.
no, because I, as soon as that happened, I realized, all right, we're gonna need to put signage up, for this reason, because every once in a while, this is kind of a thing with climbing too, because we don't really like having dogs running around while people are delaying and everything, so, no, I thought about that, was, because you could have somebody coming down, let's say a road, dog runs out, or people are trying to walk up and down the road, so, no, I think that's something we're gonna have to address either way, so, I don't think it would be a particularly onerous condition, because we're gonna have to do that, so.
I'm good with that condition.
Okay. Okay.
I don't agree with that condition.
Melanie, what do you feel?
I agree with Deb also.
So could you put signage? I'm willing to compromise. Could you put signage that, you know, there are dog laws in the town of Erving, and put the bylaws so that people know at least that they should be leashing. Now, what you do with, you know, within your community would be fine,
Yeah.
but just that to make sure that, you know,
I'm just gonna not to cut
Yeah.
you off, but I'm just
No.
gonna throw it out as a dog owner. I know there's leash laws. I know that it's my responsibility to keep my dog in. I have either a 6-foot leash or to me, it just feels like a silly thing to put in the conditions. We have other businesses in town where we have things in their conditions, and we have struggled to police, like parking lot painting your exit signs and having your exit signs up, and we struggle to police that. And I feel like this is just one of those things that it's going to be in the conditions, and I would hate for someone 5 years down the road to go, they don't have this, let's revoke. To me, there's rules and stuff in place, and I just think it's a silly thing to put in the conditions.
To me, it's just a general heads up for anyone who might be visiting from maybe out of state or something where they don't have as strict leash laws, and just a reminder is the primary functionality. Not to, I'm not really thinking of it as something where the police would have to get involved.
Right, I
Anyway.
guess I was more thinking about, there are leash there's dog bylaws, right? One of them is your dog must be leashed, that sort of thing. But you had already said that was something that you were going to consider anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's something we're considering anyways,
Okay.
just because I don't think we really lose, like, we don't really lose
Right.
much by at least having signage up. I mean,
Right.
That doesn't mean I'm gonna be out there, like, with a I'm gonna
No.
cross the vest and, like, chasing everyone down, but I think some signage at least is, like, as you said, people are gonna be coming from other
Right.
places, and, abutters have been very kind to us, and so we're trying to return the favor.
For me personally, I would take them at the word that signs will go up. This to me isn't something that I would put in the conditions. That's just my opinion. I will vote that.
I
I'll vote when I vote,
understand
but-
that. And this is not a reflection on your application. I've been on the planning board a long time. We can be friendly now, but you have to put it in writing and to be able to enforce it down the road. And that's why I'm just saying, just a sign that basically says Erving has dog laws, and one of them is leashing your dog, and that would be it. It wouldn't be, it doesn't have to be 8 feet wide, or, that's an exaggeration, but it doesn't have to be huge. It just has to be as if somebody came out of town. Yes, you can bring your dog up to the trails, you can go up to climb, but the dog needs to be on a leash. And that's really where I'm going with that.
It sounds like that's likely going to be on the sign anyway. Is that, all right. So
Yeah.
might I suggest, and thank you for the multiple perspectives here. I think the applicant is perfectly willing to put up a notification, a little reminder sign on their kiosk, because there will be a lot of information to remind people who are not local that dogs must remain on a leash per state or town ordinance.
Yeah,
I'm
we
not
do have
sure.
a town ordinance, so I
Okay,
think
so
that's.
per town
yeah.
ordinance,
Yeah.
and leave it at that. And it's not a bad reminder. It doesn't take up a lot of space. It's very, very easy for us to provide, and it's a nice reminder for the community. I live in a place where there are a lot of dogs, and they're not all on leashes, and usually that's fine, and sometimes it's not. So a little reminder is great.
So the conditions we have are signage open dawn to dusk, no overnight parking or camping, and then just that we have a dog bylaws.
Just real quick, where did we all land on the dawn to dusk part? Is everyone okay with that?
agree with that.
I generally agree with that. I am worried if there are, once this parking lot opens, I have no doubt there's going to be other hikers outside of the climbing club who is using it.
It's pretty standard practice to say from dawn to dusk in parks. It's,
Okay.
yeah, I mean.
As long as
that's-
that,
yeah.
I guess to me, as long as that is similar to what we do in all the other parks
Yes,
in
all
town,
our parks
then totally
basically
good with
say
it.
they're only open from dawn
Yep,
to
then
dusk.
totally good with it.
Sorry, is that the same for the no overnight parking, camping?
I agree with that also.
Okay.
So
Just
I'm
one of
going
those.
to propose those conditions.
Unanimous
Um,
for both those, sounds like.
Yep.
Can I just
yeah.
make a comment first? This isn't a condition, but you've spoken in depth about your social media and that you guys put a lot out there to your climbers. I understand that you've said before that you are fine with other people coming from, hearing about this parking lot and coming and hiking. But I hope that you will continue to flood your social media with the fact that this is in a rural neighborhood where we have, people walking, kids on bikes. I have a lot of friends that walk down that road, and people fly as it is. Our own residents who shouldn't be, because that's their friends and neighbors that are walking and their dogs that are in the roads. But I mean, close to 80 cars a day is a lot of traffic on that road. And I know you're hoping to have people come in from the east. That is not always going to happen. They're going to come from both sides no matter what. You can't control that. So I just hope that this is something that you guys talk about as a group, that you continue to make sure that that is put out there as much as possible, to just please be mindful of their speed. And there are no sidewalks, so those residents have nowhere to walk but in that road. Unfortunately, that's a lot of Erving, that side. So I just hope you're mindful of that going forward, that that is something that continues, that they're mindful of our residents and the people who are on that road and have been for many years.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Would someone like to entertain a motion? It has to be by roll call. So, let's see, procedure-wise.
Give me your list so I can.
All right, bear with us, we don't do a lot of these. All right. So, I guess I can make the motion, right? There's nothing that prohibits that.
I can.
Oh, you
Doesn't
can make,
matter.
you know, you
Okay.
make the motion.
All right, I am going to make a motion to approve the project titled Parking and Site Access Farley Ledges, 25 Old State Road, Irving, Massachusetts, with the following conditions. There will be signage that states the parking lot is open from dawn to dusk. There will be signage that states no overnight parking or camping.
And the dog laws.
No,
Oh,
it's-
no, that was
okay.
another note.
And there will be signage that states that there are dog laws within the town of Irving.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, this will be roll call. Burnett?
Sorry, aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Newton?
Aye.
Boyden? Aye. So your special permit has been approved. We'll need to type it up, so you have to give us a little bit of time.
No
And then
problem.
it's 20 days at the town clerk's office, and then you can file it. So with that, I will conclude the public hearing. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? No, it was just a continuation. I'm safe. Okay, we have to do a roll call to end the public hearing. Burnett?
Aye.
Smith?
Aye.
Newton?
Aye.
Boyden? Aye. So the public hearing has been concluded. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's a
Thank you.
pleasure
Thank you.
working with the town. And I look forward to wrapping up with the Concom. Looks like that's all done too.
Very good.